Les Strongberg, 97A 8th Street is where my residence is. My business is within the industrial park off of Flossblatt. That's still within that mile radius. I do have other operations. I've spent a lot of money helping. I've got 7 employees that have full-time work. I have over 5 or 6 employees that are doing temporary work. This building that I leased, I had to look for a long time to find a facility, which is owned by a business owner here in town. She could not even rent this building. I came in, I rented it, I put $200,000 into this operation that went into the community. It went into lighting, electricians, plumbers, contractors to get this facility up. Now, I've spent this money in this community, and I plan on in other industrial parks as my business expands and I have to take on more patients and work with other caregivers to provide high quality medicine. We inspect our stuff. These jobs are not somebody going out to their house and growing 6 plants for me. These are plant employees that come in every day on regimented times. They do their job. Some care for the plants. Some stay in the trimming area and they wear safety equipment, hairnets, gloves, masks. You know, this is all stuff we buy from your hardware store. We buy all of our supplies locally within the surrounding counties.
Which I pay workman's comp, $1,500 a month. I have an EIN number. I pay my federal taxes. Just like any other business that does. It's in how much have I been 4 months in Belgrade. When we first started last year, we put $120,000 out into this area. The only argument that's been said is a straw man argument. That's it. That's the only thing. Other than that, how many people have died from marijuana in the entire history? Can you name that number? 0. How many people this year died from pharmaceutical drugs that are legal? The number, I couldn't tell you. I think it's like 2,000 something.
Brian Crick with David Drive, Belgrade. I don't agree with what's going on in our state with the medical marijuana in general. If I understand the planning board's recommendations, I support them. I'll support the council. And I think we should protect our city and what our kids are potentially going to be exposed to. I think it's important that we think about the future and what effects that will have in the future. Thanks.
Charles Thomas again, 6200 Round Mountain Road, owner of USA Medical on Main Street. Just want to thank the council for the time, and I do look forward to working with the community and the council to find a situation or a solution that's best for the community. I too have invested a lot of money in the new location on Main Street. Have had good dialogue with Chief Clark and other officials, and look forward to setting a standard and hopefully doing this right in a way that the intent of the law was by the voters and for the betterment of the community.
We're 2181 Airport Road. Well, we've heard a lot about the financial impact on the community, and I want to agree with that. But what I wanted to address is the impact you're going to have on the patients here. As for Danielle, Darcy briefly brought that up, you know, but there's not a store here. Where is she to go? Belgrade, I think last I heard is about 8,000 people now is what I read. Dr. Christensen out in Victor, he's the one that really first started signing these cards years ago. He says at least 10% of the population could be signed up. So that's 800 people. Well, we can't service 800 people.
What I'm concerned about is if the ordinance passes as it is, and those that are grandfathered, those appear to need to be monopolies. And monopolies, if there's only one store that's open now in Belgrade, that's a monopoly. And monopolies aren't good things; they're illegal mostly. And that, I think, what's that? That's a gold mine. Only one anywhere? Well, they can Belgrade.
They can only provide their patients. I mean,
well,
so storefronts, or how many businesses do you need?
Well, how many storefronts are there?
How many casinos do we have, or beer drives?
Connie, is if I want to go gamble, I can go gamble anywhere. It's legal for me to do that anywhere. It's zoned anywhere. Anybody can go do that. I don't have to have a doctor write me a recommendation to go to a casino. So anybody can go there.
Mr. Thomas, who inspects to make sure that you have 6 plants per every car?
No one.
Okay.
Not at this time. I fully expect, and I'm in the process of working with the state to produce acceptable regulations to everybody that everybody can try to live with, that will put in some sort of inspection to keep everybody on the same page, not to get off the ladder. But for me, it's a personal integrity thing, and I don't vary from that. So.
I guess I just have to say, I personally don't see any problem with having any more restrictions than what we already place on alcohol and liquor. Excuse me, the same thing, alcohol and casinos. I just don't understand why the big hype about it. I don't use it myself. I never have. I don't really care to ever even try it. I just feel like it's just, why are we getting so excited about this 1 mile radius outside the city? That seems terribly unfair, especially when I see the destruction that alcohol does and gambling. So I personally cannot support this ordinance because I feel like it takes that extra step that is just too hard. I don't mind regulating. I want to see regulation. I want to see zoning, but I don't want to see the really being crushed about it. It just doesn't seem like it's the American way.
I said it last time we talked. My mother died recently of pancreatic cancer. For you caregivers, you know that that's very painful. Towards the end of her death, she had 8, 9, 10 pain patches on. So I understand the process and the pain of some. Where I have a problem is traveling doctors coming into a hotel room and passing out 600, 700 cards at $150 a pop, and there's no recourse against that man. I guarantee you, I don't guarantee you, that's a bad thing to say, but I bet you within 24 hours, I could have a card. As far as I know, I just had a physical, there's nothing wrong with it. That's where I come up with a problem. I totally understand and go for people that have been given a death sentence by a bad disease. I completely let them live out their final years and as pain-free as they possibly can. That I completely understand. But the group, the association, when I see ads in the paper for new, please come sign up with us and we'll give you bridgeable ski passes. I've not seen a doctor advertise that. Have you? Has anybody seen any doctors give away ski passes?
That's a caregiver. It's greener pastures doing that.
I know, but and what I'm asking from you and the rest of you, you need to get a hold of your association. You have meetings. I've seen them at the Holiday Inn. And if you want this to be legitimate, then it needs to be legitimate. You need to go to the state with a strong voice. And until it appears to me, and I'll admit I'm probably uneducated, but as it appears to me that it's a free-for-all, I can't support it.
You can't regulate yourself or
I just feel until the state comes up with some kind of guideline for the caregivers and the licensing, I just don't know how you can go along and say it's all just fine and let them do the way they want to do it. I think there has to be some kind of regulation.
Shall we? Yes, thank you.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell. No. Councilmember Campbell.
No.
Councilmember Gee. Councilmember Kreiner.
Aye.
Councilmember Youngberg.
So the ayes have it, 4-2. Did I count correctly? All right, motion passes 4-2.